some reason. Let's try streaming to the internet.
Let's do
Sounds
that
like
instead.
fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, finally, after 40 minutes of picks and bans, we are live with the Amazon Finals. Nyx, the blue team, versus Fax, the purple team. Nyx actually is in the champion bracket, so they will only have to win one game in this series to win the finals and all the prizes that Amazon has bestowed upon them. And Fax, meanwhile, on the other hand, is going to have to win 2 games here to be able to take the title away from their nemesis, which actually knocked them to the bottom bracket. I am RYW Pato, and with me is the lovely and talented Snicker Snacks.
Yes.
How are you doing
Hello.
today?
I am doing very well, and you?
I'm doing excellent. So,
Awesome. I'm really psyched for this to start now because that 40 minutes was really tedious.
You mean suspenseful and intriguing. That's what you meant to say, right?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
So anyways, for those that didn't catch it, because we can't see the bands here, the bands went something like this. Ari, Nautilus, and Malphite for the purple team, and the blue team banned out Kennen, Alistar, and Shen. So some pretty solid bands actually right there. But the picks that we see coming from both teams, a little bit unconventional. A few, champions we don't typically see, not the usual team comps, but both, lots of strong potential. And again, these players, they're Amazon employees. They don't have all the time in the world to grind out ELO and play as many games as they want to. But, they do have a love for the game. They set up this tournament. They've played through it. These are the 2 best teams of those teams, and it should be a lot of fun. But while I actually send out some advertising to the interwebs, talk a little bit through these teams, Snicker Snacks.
We've definitely got what is one of my favorite matchups for bottom lane on blue team, which is Lulu and Sivir. They play a really aggressive, really taunting, really hit and run sort of play. So we're probably going to see a lot of action going down on bottom lane. Lulu has such good utility. She's really good at harassment. Sivir, of course, also amazing at harassment and able to effectively use that spell shield. They should be able to stay in lane pretty much forever. We've also got, Riven in the jungle, which, at least for me, is a little less seen, but definitely a solid pick with the Renekton combo up top. They both have stuns. They both can maneuver pretty quickly around the wide open area that top lane is, so we should see some really good synergy between the 2 of them. Combining that exhaust with the heal and the ignite should work out really well for them going for the ganks on top.
Yeah, definitely. And I just actually got done playing a team ranked game against a Riven jungle, and the Riven ended up being 11-1 and basically like a top Riven and was blowing everybody up on our team, which hopefully that does not happen for the Fax team because that would be really, really bad for them. But, when it works, it can work really, really well. Riven scales really hard off that AD, so can be a scary jungle, but I'm excited to see it played.
That Nasus pick top, I am very interested to see. Nasus is not normally a champion that comes out, especially not in ranked play at about, 1300 and beyond. So really excited to see what he's going to bring out. We've got it just occurs to me right now that Lulu's actually going to be going mid and Soraka's going to be bot with Sivir, so that's even better for them. They're going to have such mega sustain with the mana regen that Sona and Graves are going to have to definitely be on the ball, poking them down and getting as much poke damage and errant hits as they can.
So it looks like we are just going to start up here. Both teams going to load it. I know the Malzahar player did say that after all those picks and bans, he actually wanted to go get his credit card so he could buy his skin real quickly. So let's see if he actually did buy his skin and he was completely serious, or if he was just joking with everyone, which hopefully he was joking. Because I think actually for him, I believe he said he's an East... Okay, he didn't, luckily, because he is an East Coaster, so I believe it's 1 a.m. or past 1 a.m. for him out there. So I definitely know how that is. When I played at Google, our mid player actually was an East Coaster as well. I don't know, maybe East Coast loves Malzahar. Maybe it's a thing. We actually have a Pax Sivir skin here. Again, a lot of these people, Seattleites as well. So definitely probably hitting up Pax, picking up those skins.
Of course. Definitely was a little game unto itself at last year's PAX, trying to track down people from Riot to get those skins from them. I remember chasing down one of my friends from Riot across the entire hallway on the 6th floor just trying to get a skin card from her.
Give me your skins. But Sivir, needs to turn down some torrents maybe a little bit. So 482 ping. It's a little bit concerning as AD. I know when we were practicing setting up your stream a little bit earlier, you were under duress with your last hitting.
Yeah, it does get tricky. It's a lot like as if you were playing Dota 2, trying to last hit.
That Dota 2 last hitting's hard.
Oh, definitely. That's probably the hardest thing in that game. Fortunately, going from Dota 2 back to League, very, very easy.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if you've ever played baseball, like they have the donuts that you put on the bat, to make it heavier when you swing, and then you'll swing faster when you finally get up to plate. It's kind of like that, I feel like. You go to Dota 2, you put those donuts on the bat, it's hard to last hit. Then you come to League of Legends, you're like, this is so easy. It's almost like it does it for me.
And that allows you to think a lot more about your positioning, what's going on the rest of the map, checking your ward spots and such. So if you have that last hitting locked down, then that makes you a more effective AD carry.
All right, and here we go. We are live. Nyx, the blue team, Fax, the red team, and Fax is going to have to win this game and another one if they want to take the finals. Nyx, again, only having to win one game, and we'll see both these teams run out off the gate. And we'll see if anyone wants to be aggressive, because, a pretty good strategy, I feel, for these teams is, like, even if you have a good aggressive team or not, sometimes you can catch people out, especially in a situation like this, and you can really set a team back if they're not actually expecting and they're sleeping on the jungle invade.
Yeah, the Amumu jungle in particular, very sensitive, very vital that Amumu picks up that first blue. It'll set him back so significantly it might actually throw the game from the get-go, so they really need to watch that blue.
You see Amumu just spotting out here. Probably does have vision of Sivir running back and forth. The red team is going to huddle up and get ready for a possible invade. But I have a feeling both these teams are just going to play it safe. I don't think that anything crazy actually is going to go down.
Yeah, blue team does have a very good spread across the map looking for invades, but the invade is definitely unlikely. Like I said earlier, the Amumu pick puts the other team at a slight disadvantage. They really have to watch Amumu's back, and they really have to make sure that he picks up that first blue.
So bottom and mid is actually shifted down towards this red buff. I wonder if Riven's actually going to come down here and start red. Looks like she is. I know it actually is, kind of a common jungler thing now to actually start this red buff, go up, get the blue buff, and you can actually rotate up with double buffs for top lane. And we can see that double stun like you were talking about earlier. From Renekton and Riven, and that could be a really, really good play for them. And once you start snowballing top is one of the easiest lanes to snowball, and that would be a good strategy for them if we can see Nyx actually getting that going here.
Yeah, absolutely. The name of the game for Renekton right now is making sure that Nasus doesn't get last hits in, doesn't farm up that Q, doesn't get the minion kills. So Riven is probably going to be expecting that and visiting top regularly.
So right now, we don't know, a lot about these players specifically. They're all kind of like in that 1,400, a couple number one range. And so it's be interesting to see, who actually, a lot of it's going to come down to, how much these players play these characters. Because, these players probably, they probably main characters, if you will. And so it's going to come down to, who really gets an advantage and who's able to actually take it. To see, what lanes finally actually get an advantage. And that's going to pay off and show a lot to who's going to actually win this game as we head into the mid-game out of this early game. And just quick little trades here from both teams. No one going super aggressive, although both bottom lane has a sustain. Both bottom lanes actually have a lot of poke potential, actually, if they really want it.
Yep, mid is Lulu up against Malzahar, and Malzahar is definitely going to push that lane as hard as he can in the early game because Lulu cannot deal with it until she is able to get points into her skills and be able to clear the minion wave faster. She's going to have a rough time last hitting until she hits about 6 or 7.
Yeah, and it looks like Riven's actually snuck around here, actually possibly thinking about an early gank mid. could be interesting. Malzahar is pulling up here, might have a potential to do that now. Looks like a Mumu is possibly going on top. Quick flash from Malzahar. Malzahar trying to get out this. The stun does go down. They put a lot of damage on him, tanking a little bit too much of the turret. Riven's actually going to have to back off and restart her jungle path, more than likely, probably. It looks like, no, she's going to go down here and probably pick up some wraiths. And Mumu, I thought, was possibly going to come up for a gank up top. It looks like Nass is actually taking a lot of damage in exchange up top, and Mumu actually backed off there.
Yeah, Lulu has a really good chance to pick up on the farm a little bit while Malzahar's gone, soak up that experience, and recover from being pushed on so early in the game.
And at Mumu, though, the good part for him, though, is his jungle is just kind of going as usual. He's actually a little bit of CS ahead of Riven at this point, and a Mumu jungle actually really picks up the more levels he gets. He actually has a pretty quick jungle, so this is a good start for the red team. They have their jungler rolling, and he's going to have a huge impact in team fights. And it looks like he might be thinking about coming up top here to put some pressure on this Renekton, who's definitely keeping this Nasus underneath his turret.
Yeah, he's got 9 CS ahead of Nasus right now, and he's been able to... Mumu comes in, lands his stun.
Exhaust actually going down here. Spirit Fire coming up. A lot of damage, but they're not really going to be able to get him here. But they do put a lot of damage on in the meantime. Riven actually coming up for support in case they did decide to dive there, possibly.
Yeah, just a little bit too early in the game to get out that full damage for the kills secure. Both we saw that with Malzahar under the turret in mid, and now with Renekton.
Looks like Blue's actually pushing really hard here. That actually is pretty smart and safe for them. And not only do they have wards, but they actually did notice that a Mumu was top, so they don't have to worry about any ganks coming in here. So it is very easy for them, especially with Soraka just feeding mana to that Sivir. She just pushed this lane up as much as she wants, and it could give her a CS advantage as this lane goes on. Right now, they're actually pretty much dead even so far in CS.
Sivir using that aggressive positioning and the poke with Q to push Graves and Sona off of the creep wave.
Yeah, really interesting to see what team finally is able to make a move. We haven't seen First Bloodlet. Teams are pretty much dead even as far as team gold is concerned. There's no real big advantage anywhere on the map quite yet. I'm interested to see where the play is going to be. It looks like a Mumu snuck down here, though, although they do have that ward there. And Sivir even has a spell shield, but it's not up. She's actually going to take the bandage toss and easily back out of this with the help of that Soraka heal.
Definitely good reaction time. Sivir is paying attention to the ward areas out of the corner of her eye and backing off exactly when she needs to. So that's really good play from the AD carry.
Yeah, it looks like all of the wards so far on the map have fallen besides the ward down here in the bottom lane from the red team. So there's not a lot of vision. So Mumu, again, he has, both junglers really have a lot of potential to make something happen, make some play on the map, because none of the other lanes actually have wards to protect themselves if a gank does come in on them. And with this aggressive Renekton up top, that might be a good lane to revisit for Mumu a little bit later.
Yeah, the farm is definitely becoming more and more deviated as time goes on. Nasus is having a very tough time last hitting.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, typically it's very hard, especially without a ward, to get away with this, with what Renekton's doing in the top lane, unless you've already had a kill or some big advantage to start with. For him to be able to pressure Nasus underneath his turret is actually a big deal. Although one thing we could see, a lot of times when you have this heavy pressure in the lane, besides getting ganked, possibly the other problem that happens is if you take that turret too early and you forget about Nasus. Nasus is one of those characters that can just keep farming up his siphoning strike while you forget about him, and then finally later on when you meet him in a team fight and he's able to catch back up, he's a really big threat.
Definitely looks like Sivir is doing a fantastic job of keeping Graves on his toes, getting him to make mistakes and miss last hits, and controlling the lane pretty much by herself. Soraka hasn't been doing a whole lot other than standing in the bush and watching guard.
Yeah, and actually Sona's backed off here, so Graves actually going to have even less protection underneath his turret. And he was thinking about going back, but then he canceled his blue pill, but there's really not a lot of options for him, even after he clears this. As you see, he get hits by another Boomerang Blade right there. He's just going to, eventually he's going to have to give up this CS, even if he waits for Stona to get back. She'll be able to farm and get a little bit of that XP, but the main thing is getting your AD farmed. And with him gone, he is just going to miss that CS experience.
Lulu, despite not having the advantage in terms of pressuring and pushing the lane through the creep wave, is pretty much keeping up with Malzahar in CS so far. Hasn't gone back to buy yet. Malzahar does have his Doran's Ring, has a little bit of AP.
And a possible gank come in here. Broken Wings into a stun. Malzahar almost getting the stun underneath turret. Would have been a kill. And Riven just barely going to escape out of this. It's a good little attempt there, but Lulu didn't have any mana to really follow anything up. So even if Riven, at her best, it was pretty much Riven versus Malzahar 1v1 because Lulu had nothing to follow up with.
Yeah, even though the blue buff is on Malzahar right now, he's still pushing the limits of his mana, and he again only has the Doran's Ring, so AP's still a little lackluster right now.
It looks like Renekton pushing top lane. Oh, he's going to get a ward, a really deep ward down here. And he actually has the Tri-Burst warded as well. So it's going to be very, very hard for anyone to actually get in on this Renekton without him knowing. And with that advantage up there, it's a really smart play by this Renekton player, realizing, hey, we could have a big advantage up here. I'm just going to make sure there's no way they can come in and gank me. And really the only path possibly would be if Nasus can get the pressure off of his turret, although he's low on mana, so that's going to be hard to do, and maybe get a lane gank from Amumu. And actually, Red with a nice little response with Dragon here, and they are actually going to take a blue team not responding, and that's actually a really heads-up play by this Fax team.
Yeah, absolutely. Bottom lane didn't seem to notice that anything in particular was going on. They did have Tribush warded so they could see if they were going to sneak around the side, and they were split up, which is a universally bad move on Dragon. You don't want to be split up as a team when you go in on a team that's trying to take it.
Oh, and a nice Amumu ult in here. It looks like Soraka's caught out here. Going to get blown up, and believe it or not, that is First Blood, the crescendo. Missing Sivir right there. She backs off. So First Blood is going to finally happen. Soraka, the first casualty of the game. And it's not too often that you actually see a game reach 10 minutes in, a dragon goes down, and First Blood hasn't happened yet. So pretty interesting play from both teams here. And in case you are just tuning in, this is the Amazon internal tournament finals. So 8 teams made up of Amazon employees battling out here for bragging rights and prizes. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We have Team Nyx, who is the blue team, which actually is the championship bracket. They have to win 1 game in this finals to take it, and the other team, Fax, the red team, has to win 2 games in order to be crowned the champions, because this is a double elimination tournament.
Finally, Amumu, seeing him up top. It's been several minutes since he's been back up there, but there's nothing that he can do about it. Nasus wants to go back and buy for sure.
Yeah, and Renekton pretty much getting to about double Nasus CS, so that's a little worrisome at this point in the game for a top. That's a big discrepancy this early in.
We are seeing Renekton go in for the turret.
And he's just going to take on this Amumu. Amumu doesn't have a lot for him. Great, nice little dash pass there to keep up and keep ahead of this Amumu so he can keep pressure on there. Waiting for cooldowns. Might be able to pick up the kill. It's going to be close, but no, he's just going to back off. Looks like Wither coming in now, and the Exhaust as well. And Nasus coming back with the ult of his own, putting a lot of pressure here, but Riven coming up from behind, going to give a little bit of support. I don't know if they're actually going to be able to take down Nasus in the process. Exhaust going down as well, and we should see... Nope. We're not going to see her ult actually come down. I don't think she actually used her ult. She's keeping it. She's saving it.
Yeah, we've reached a point in the game where Nasus and Renekton are just beefy enough that they won't be able to actually take each other down without assistance, but unfortunate for Renekton, he decided to take that turret down, which means Nasus is going to have a little bit of an easier time farming. Renekton's really going to have to watch his back to make sure that nobody comes up behind him.
Yeah, typically a general mark for a lot of players is typically that 15-minute mark is when you want to think about taking down your enemy's turret, because really turrets are really powerful tools in the fact that you can keep pressuring into them, like how Renekton got his early advantage, and you basically deny your opponent CS by having that turret kill the CS and making it harder for your opponent to farm. So usually players will leave that up a little bit longer, but he's taken it down earlier. So hopefully what they will do is they'll actually get a timer down and actually entering the jungle right now. They're all onto Malzahar. Will Malzahar try to turn around and do a combo? Lulu ult coming here, going to provide a little bit of extra slow in there. Glitterlance coming in, an extra slow, and there is an ignite as well. Now they're trying to back off out of this turret. Mummy ult coming in. Crescendo following up. Now it's a 4v2, but a lot of burst damage coming out here, but it's not going to be enough, and I think that might be a 1-for-2, but no, Riven coming in here with a little bit of support. Brilliant Glitterlance. No one's going to catch her. Great job right there by Wormhole. Going to be able to escape out of this Forest team. And actually now they're going to turn it around. Now it's a 4v4. They group up. Great stun by Riven in there, catching all the members. The Boomerang Blade doing massive damage. And there's the Riven ult. Going to finish that off. And there's double kill. Now Graves needs Gauss. He does not want to give up that double buff. That would be really bad at this point. A really extended team fight we're seeing here from both teams. And 3-3 to kills. And we're only 400 gold separated. Red just still with a little bit of advantage after all is said and done.
Yeah, that was a pretty brilliant play, at least on the part of Red Team. Sivir was going in for the kill on Sona, but Sona rotated out and was replaced with Graves, who took some damage for her, making sure that she didn't fall.
Yeah, and it looks like Blue right now trying to put a lot of pressure on this bottom turret, possibly take that. And, you know, if they take that that bottom turret, they take mid turret, then they can actually establish a lot of jungle control, possibly have their jungle pick up, or someone on their team, maybe Renekton because he's so tanky and has a lot of gold, pick up an Oracles for their team and start getting some serious map control. Because it looks like...
With
no,
the bottom turret down, Blue Team's actually forcing the game into team fight mid game right now. So we're going to see a lot more contesting for Dragon, a lot more aggression in terms of 2v2, 3v3.
Yeah, and really, you know, the Red Team actually has a pretty good AoE team as well. You know, both teams have a lot of AoE damage potential, but that Amumu and Sona Crescendo, if it's followed up by the right amount of damage, I really like Red's chances, although the unfortunate part is really Malzahar. At the end of the day, I mean, he has, if you lay your pool correctly, that pool takes a percentage of your health, null zone, and does so much damage. But really, he's kind of like a single target, tear down one target, and Nasus a little bit of the same, although he does have that AoE ult. So it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, how, if they do land all those stuns, if they have enough damage to follow it up and actually just crush the enemy team in a team fight.
We've got Riven trying to defend bot tower right now. Graves just giving some pokes.
And actually, that's pretty good play, you know, by this Riven. You know, as a jungler coming in, you know, making sure that experience doesn't go to waste, and keeping this turret alive for as long as possible. A little bit of damage trading back and forth, but she is pretty good in here.
So Dragon's up. Red Team is going to want to make a 3 play here so that they can take control of this turret, take it down, maybe push them back far enough, get a kill, and then take Dragon.
Great spell shield, but that Mummy ult is going to catch it up. Graves popping his ult, trying to get it, but now it's a 3v2. Actually, Sona hadn't followed this yet. Sona already used her ult earlier underneath the tower. She was not going to have it to try to escape. Riven picking up the kill right there, and now will they be able to pick up this Amumu as well? Sona trying to help them back off. Amumu just going to give up his body at this point, and Riven might be able to pull off another kill here. Sona coming back. I believe that was not the best decision, and there's a double kill for Oridan. Oridan right now 2-0-3 with 97 CS, looking pretty strong here with those kills. But, you know, Graves actually, you know, we were talking about earlier, he was having some CS trouble, but he's really actually ahead in CS, and he still has some good kills and assists, only dying that one time, as we saw just ago. So both AD carries still very much in this game. No huge advantage either way quite yet.
Absolutely. Still no play for Dragon. Soraka's going to ward it just in case they get wrapped around, but nobody is even there to contest it, so Blue Team has a free and clear Dragon if they wanted to take it.
Yeah, and it looks like they actually have a forward ward coming up on this blue buff. I think that might be in preparation for, you know, if Sona and Sivir and Soraka actually want to try to push up that lane and keep farming it, they're going to need that ward there in order to protect themselves from possible ganks. And looks like they're just going to start Dragon by themselves. Sona rotating down here, intending to place a ward, but she's going to find a lot more than that, and the rest of the Blue Team collapsing now, going to try to pick off this Dragon, but Red Team collapsing as well. And just see how this fight goes down. Sivir actually very low here, getting a lot of heals, and there is the Mummy. Bandage Toss is going to land. Malzahar trying to pull off something quite there, but he's not going to commit. And now it looks like it's going to be red team's dragon after taking a little bit of damage from that dragon by
That was,
themselves, not as a team.
that was a very successful move on their part. They actually shoved them off of dragon, threatened them, poked them down, and the blue team was missing so much health that there was no way they could have contested it without losing at least 2 people.
Yeah, Nasus even rotating down as Renekton rotated down as well.
Nasus
And,
definitely doesn't want to miss that farm.
Renekton being really aggressive there, and that was almost a setup for. I mean, if Malzahar really had enough mana there, but they're still going to be able to pick him off here. He's going to pop his ult to try to get out of this, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Crescendo missing yet again, and Hannibal, he's proven me wrong. He's actually going to be able to get out of this with a Glitter Lance. I thought he was in a lot of trouble right there.
He popped that Hex Drinker and just bolted right out of there. That was incredible play by Renekton.
Actually, we might see engagement here. Mumu's backed off out of this. This is actually a pretty good move for blue team if they were able to actually catch out Graves there. Both teams kind of settling in here. We have blue with the kill advantage, but red with the dragon advantage actually making up for that lost gold. And
Yeah,
really,
gold is almost dead even right now, actually.
Yep. Malzahar up there for the red team, 133 CS, and leading the blue team, of course, is Renekton, 141 CS. He's back in that top lane, nomming on some creeps. And red team's actually looks like they decided that they're going to go full press on this middle turret, saying we don't have enough dead turrets on the map. We're going to take this one too, even it up a little bit here.
Yep, they see Renekton top and Sivir bottom, so that's a prime time to push all 5 mid.
And it looks like they're both teams just going to back off here. Looks like bottom might retake up there, start farming up. And Naz looks like Naz is going to hit top. So back to almost like a pseudo little bit of laning phase now after taking that turret.
It's interesting that Malzahar has decided to pick up a Tear of the Goddess because he's not charging it as fast as most other AP casters would be. He doesn't necessarily spam spells so much as he does bolt forward and try to lay his entire combo down on one person in particular. So he's got it about a fifth of the way full, but that should pay off in about 5 or 10 minutes when he decides to complete that.
Yeah, that actually is a pretty interesting decision right there. I'd be interested to ask him if that's just his standard build or if he just likes that item.
Maybe if he's anticipating this game running long.
It definitely could be. It looks like Nasus right now definitely going to be heading towards that Triforce. Looks like he has the Sapphire Crystal, probably going to be stacking the turn into a Sheen here soon. Going that route. Red again, a little bit more pressure on the middle lane. They're just kind of keeping these lanes pushed. And I'm interested to see what objective sparks the next kind of engagement for them. I wonder if blue team... I haven't seen them necessarily keep track of the dragon timers yet, so maybe we'll see another fight at dragon when dragon comes back up, and maybe that will be what sparks an engagement. But they might just put some pressure on this turret right here, right now. But red's actually going to have enough people there to respond to this.
Trying to keep everyone mid. Nasus desperately trying to get that farm back up, but he feels the pressure mid and he feels the need to come back down and support the rest of his team. Yeah, and blue team definitely has enough poke to do a significant amount of... there's the Lulu ult.
Lulu ult coming in there, canceling a lot of that single target damage though. And now we have a full-blown team fight coming in there. Starcall picking up possibly a kill. Renekton picking up a kill. And there's the wind slash right there. We're going to be 2 kills in there for the blue team, and they're actually coming out a little bit on top of this. Red team still backed underneath their turret. They still have their carries up though, so they're still able to put up a damage. The blue can't quite just push down this turret. Nice little engagement there for blue team. They're able to pick up 3 kills for the price of a Renekton. Very good. It looks like Sivir's actually rotating top here, going to keep this turret up and farm a little bit more, and start the top lane pushing.
Definitely key is keeping the lanes pushed at the very least to the river, so sending people periodically up to top lane, down to bottom lane to keep those lanes pushed will help push the advantage if you come out on top in a team fight.
Riven farming up a little bit of jungle at this point, and looking at, I like to always take a quick look at the the carries gold, where they stand. Graves about 6.6k gold, Malzahar at 6.4k. If we look at the carries for the other team, pretty much even along those lines. 6.4k for Sivir. Looks like Lulu a little bit behind, just creeping up on the 6k. But Renekton has 6.5k, while Nasus only has 5k gold. So Renekton's sitting almost with a 1,500 gold advantage at this point. So looking pretty good for his team in that top lane. But again, like I said earlier, if you sleep on that Nasus and you let him farm up that Siphoning Strike, he's going to be a big pain to deal with later on. That's kind of what he's doing. He's kind of rotating around these lanes while he can. There's not a lot of pressure on them quite yet, so he's able to go around and farm that Siphon Strike.
Absolutely. We're going to see Dragon come up here in the next minute or so. Nasus has got his Sheen at this point, so he should be free and clear to switch off lanes, pushing them out, getting the farm, and catching up to Renekton.
Looks like Blue will be able to pressure and take down this mid turret. There's only 2 red team members to defend this as they rotate in. And one thing that's kind of scary for Blue team, though, is like they can't really engage under a turret very well compared to against this red team, because this red team has so much stuns if you decide to engage underneath a turret, especially AoE stuns. They'd be really, really scary for them. So if red team's in position, it'll be really hard for Blue team to really push heavily on them. And here we go. Here's that dragon. Will we see
Riven and Lulu are too slow. I don't know if they can contest it.
Oh, Renekton coming in through the back. Going to put a lot of damage there, but Red will get that dragon. Blue is all in on this. Crescendo comes in, stunning a lot of the back half member. Amumu out coming off there, trying to play them. Riven's all over this Graves, but he's actually going to lose 1v1. Renekton's going to fall. Nasa's finally falling in there, but he's so tanky, and he's pretty much done his job. It looks like Red's Graves is still up now, still able to do his job, which is put out really fat DPS. He's going to pick up Lulu along the way. Malzahar has the dot on to Oridan. Oridan popping spell shield, trying to protect him, and Soraka with that heal in there, trying to protect her. Good job right there. And so there's a quick trade, but Red able to pick up that dragon and the kill advantage, getting 3 kills for the cost of 2.
Yeah, even though Red is down by 4 kills right now, they have just now gained a slight advantage in gold, and that was the 3rd dragon for them, so they should see a continued advantage as they pick up dragons.
And a great pickup by Graves in that bottom lane. Sivir kind of sleeping a little bit right there, not expecting the damage to come out, and I have to hand it to Citadel right there. That was actually really heads-up play and smart, aggressive play. Realized they could pick up that kill, and they're going to get another bottom turret. So now we're seeing Red actually, we were saying they pulled a slight lead. Now they're almost 2k gold ahead of the Blue team.
Yeah, very smart play by Graves there. Sivir was expecting to be able to farm the minions and get her health back up based off of her lifesteal, but did not anticipate Graves hanging around to pick up that kill.
So
we're at a point now where warding is going to play a really, really prominent role in team fighting, because we have 2 turrets down along bottom, 1 turret for red team, so we're going to see, once red comes back up again, we're probably going to see some heavy plays down there.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't seen quite yet is actually oracles from any of the supports or the junglers so far, which is something they're definitely going to want to look into. I mean, it can give you a huge advantage when you do get in this map positioning, ward control kind of game. It looks like Red actually had some of their wards just fall, so they're going to be going out there trying to replace them, while Blue just starting to ward up that Baron. And you have to be very, very careful against this Red team comp, because with a Nasus and an Amumu, they're able to take percentage health points. They can actually, and even Malzahar, they can tear down a Baron really, really, really quickly. So Blue team definitely can't be caught out of position and be too far away if Red actually decides to make a Baron happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We're approaching that point in the game where it would be feasible for either team to pick up Baron, given enough time to wail away at it and pick its health down. So everybody's kind of posturing, waiting to see what's going to happen.
And right now, Red actually, both teams actually know where each other are pretty much. Red's guessing, but Blue did see them pass through. And Red's creeping around. They're heading towards this blue. Renekton might have been spotted there. They don't want to be bunched up here, though, because of that Amumu and that Crescendo, it's not actually good for them. Renekton actually jumping to the backline, putting a lot of damage on both carries. I really do like this, but he's caught in that percentage damage pool. He's going to be taken down right away. Riven trying to get after here. Will she be able to pick up Graves? No, Graves is going to be able to escape out of this. And they've put a lot of effort trying to pick up Graves, but they haven't been able to do it. They finally do it, but at the cost of getting aced. Triple kill for that Nasus, and now they're going to be able to push down and chunk down some turrets. Might be able to press onto a base turret possibly, especially with that Nasus riding high. He actually has finished that Triforce, so he's going to chunk these turrets very, very hard.
Yeah, playing the waiting game, Renekton took that turret down early, Nasus took advantage of it and farmed up, and that triple kill is going to seal the gold advantage for Red Team.
Yeah, they should be able to get this base turret at the very least, I imagine. And probably not going to be able to get the inhib. It looks like a Amumu already running for it. Nasus, no, they're just going to back off. They don't want to stick in the pocket.
Playing it pretty safe.
Which is not a bad thing. It's a pretty good thing. One thing they do have to watch out for there is because they're typically going to back off like we're seeing here. Blue team could rush to Baron really, really quickly and try to make something happen, knowing that Red probably is backing here as 3 of their members are doing so. But it looks like they're actually heading to this bottom jungle, so that is not going to be the case. So Red's going to be okay in this circumstance.
Yeah, both wards are going to expire on Baron soon here, so we're going to see some supports running back out to reward that. Maybe we haven't seen an Oracle either, even now. But neither team seems to really be placing a heavy importance on ward coverage aggressively, just placing them in the river, kind of watching the entries and exit ways so that they can catch people out of position.
Yeah, I'm interested. Actually, Blue wanting to engage here, but again, Renekton standing on top of that pool. Nullzone doesn't want to be there. Riven, again, focusing on that Graves, but Graves doing a good job kiting back here. Lulu in the middle of the enemy team, not safe, is going to be taken down. Riven throwing out as much damage as she can before she backs off, but Red just really just eating the damage, not caring at all, and Graves trying to chase down the remnants of the blue team, and they can probably actually make a play for Baron here pretty safely, backing off the blue team here, and that's going to give him a huge advantage to start pushing down these turrets. And right now, Fax was taken down early on in the tournament, but they're looking very, very strong in this game.
Absolutely. Hannibal, playing Renekton, keeps getting caught in that null pool, keeps getting that percent damage, and Malzahar is built to melt tanks like him, so it'll be interesting to see if Malzahar is able to just take him down every single team fight, and if that's the case, it's going to be a fairly straightforward, aggressive push from Red Team.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, too, because, Malzahar, kind of one of his weaknesses is that he has to stay put and focus on you when he has his ult up. But it's been interesting to see that he's actually kind of been like the peel for Graves. Like, Graves gets dove by Renekton and Riven, and Malzahar's like, all right, I'm going to peel, in the backlines for my Graves. And, might be caught out near this dragon here. That'd actually be a good pick off for Blue if they're able to take down some of these Baron buffs, but I don't think it's going to work out. Malzahar putting some hurt onto Riven. Riven's going to fall. And can they 3v4? That is the question. It looks like they're gonna call the escape pattern here, but Mumu is picked up right now. But now they're turning around. They are able to pick up Renekton yet again, and that is a very scary squirrel there. Nasus alt squirrel. Real
that
terror.
That was a little bit of a flub. Malzahar didn't lay the pool down. Probably used his ult a little bit early, but they still have Baron, and they still have the ability to press blue team off of Dragon.
Yeah, blue team really just trying to make a play there, but it's not going to pay off for them. And look at this Nasus. We were talking about it earlier. He was down with so much CS, but now that he's farmed up, got some kills in these team fights, he's just a terror. He's so tanky. He does so much damage. And really, actually, if we look in here at his Siphoning Strike, it's doing plus 255 physical bonus damage. So he's farmed that up pretty healthy at this point.
Got that Graves pickup on Sivir again. I think with the Baron, Sivir cannot rely on that lifesteal anymore.
Yeah, and usually I don't like to call it early, but it looks like Fax finally starting to clean up here and start to press in. It looks like they're actually, again, playing it safe, but they have 5 team members here. Baron's still not down off of them. It looks like they still have about a third of it left. So they should be able to take this inhibitor. And really, if they want to take another turret, they could probably rotate really quickly to this bottom turret and take it if they really wanted to press this.
Every single lane is pushing. Very, very good position for red team to be in right now because top is slowly going to put on pressure.
Renekton getting the Lulu ult to make him a little bit tanky to sustain this, but he's going to die as soon as he come back in. A Mumu ult comes in, and this should be a wrap. I think Fax should be able to take this game, should be able to take this turret, take an inhibitor, and probably take the Nexus. They should be able to press this. Oh, Graves getting in there, making plays. Double kill.
That was a big one.
No hope. That's the no hope play. It's like, well, maybe we can defend this, and Graves is like, no, I'm gonna kill whoever's left. We're gonna end this right now.
Yeah.
So, and there is the surrender. So we will have a game 2, believe it or not. I hope the picks are a little bit faster. That's all.
Absolutely.